didn't have no problems with money because they was in control of the money, okay? And when you have greedy bastards like that, like the Novak brothers, you better believe that by giving these people or your people more money, that means less money for them. You folks ain't taking no shorts. Bastards. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please remember to hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about the untold story, Barry, me, and Motown. So, girl, oh my God, I hate this. When you at a job and this happens, right? Everybody at the job is unhappy, okay? And now that the man that you need to complain to is here, everybody clams up, okay? The fact of the matter is that the dude, Ralph Seltzer, the white dude, got everybody walking on eggshells. People are scared. People are like, wait a minute, I do have these complaints, but if Barry's not here, Barry don't work here all the time. Barry is out there in Los Angeles. He's not going to be here to protect us from this white man, okay? Because they say that Ralph Seltzer was a piece of work, okay? So they're afraid to say their truth because, they're going to have to deal with the, what do they call it? What is that word? It's not repercussion, but yeah, the repercussions of, Ralph Seltzer's tyranny. You saying this now, you feel comfortable to say it now, but guess what? Barry Gordy ain't always going to be here to protect you, okay? And trust me, Barry Gordy is going to listen to Ralph's word over the artist's word, okay? Because basically he left Ralph in control, and that's how management works, child. They always protect each other, right? They always got each other back. Even as bullshit, nobody wants to stand up. It took for one of the females to be like, wait a minute, nobody's going to say nothing? Y'all know we miserable around this bitch. Nobody's going to say nothing? Within our first 2 weeks in Detroit, our office had become a complaint department. The producers were instantly comfortable with Ed, seeing that he was trustworthy, sympathetic, and wise. Yeah, Ed said, we better start calling you Joan of Arc. I had no intent of becoming a martyr, yet I knew of the things that had to be done. This was no mere chess game, but I knew that to succeed, I'd have to beat Barry at his own game. Bitch, you don't know how to play Barry's game. You see, you failed. Ray came up with the idea that, okay, maybe we should sit down with Barry the Gordy, Ralph, bitch Seltzer, okay, and me and my husband should sit down and talk about the issues that Motown is having, because none of the artists feel comfortable with talking around Ralph Seltzer because they're afraid of the backlash. The evening came off without a hitch. There was much laughter and talk and real warmth. I'll tell you what, Barry said. When you first called me about jobs, I thought it was funny. Then I started to feel excited about it. In exchange for helping you out of a jam, you guys are going to add a lot to the company. He then said what a terrific couple Ed and I made. No details were discussed, but Barry implied he was aware of the storm clouds gathering in Detroit. Oh yeah? We'll do something about it, bitch. Driving home from dinner, Ed remarked, I'll bet our hiring has a lot to do with Barry's desire to deal with all this trouble. 2 decades later, Ed will recall in his heart, Barry was hoping for the best from our being there. He was aware of the turmoil in the company and he needed someone to come in and still the waters, someone who could give him a link to his people. And who would be better than Ray, the co-founder of the company? Even so, stilling the waters would be a delicate undertaking. Yeah, because remember, whenever there was an issue in Motown or Hitsville in the early days, he would just be like, go talk to Ray. Okay, so I can understand why that would be a good business move, right? But if you're not able to follow through with these complaints, and when she brings them to you to address them, I mean, what is she there for? Just to be an ear for them to complain to? Come on, brother. He had virtually been handed the golden bat from HDH, who were now gone. And Norman was one of the main reasons that Motown was still on top. Like HDH, before him, Norman had become the chief beneficiary of the follow-up rule, monopolizing and hitting with the Temptations, Gladys Knight, and Edwin Starr. I heard it through the grapevine. Ain't Too Proud to Beg, War, and Papa Was a Rolling Stone, and on and on. My instincts told me Norman was going to be the man at Motown for many years. The money men were a different story. Ed Pollock, the head of finance, was an uncooperative, uptight conservative. The thought of Gwen going to Pollock for a loan, as she once had to me, was totally absurd. Talking about Gwen Gordy. That speaks volumes to me, because that's his sister. Gwen was there in the beginning. Gwen and Anna were responsible for bringing the Marvy Poo to him. So whatever I'm concerned with, there shouldn't even be no loan to the Gwen Gordy. There should be a give to the Gwen Gordy. There should never be an issue where my brother is in charge of Motown, okay? And we have to go to Ed Pollock to ask for a loan. No, brother, I need some help. I need you to help me to pay for some bills, something like that. That's not how it works, you know. And we work it out between brother and sister. Leave that Pollock dude out of it. I'm lost. Barry Gordy is losing his fucking mind. That nigger is gone. Then there was the Novak brothers, Harold and Sidney, the Motown accountant, bald-head and pudgy. The Novaks were very serious about money. The definitive no men. Any proposal for company improvements received an automatic answer, ding, no. Barry Gordy hired these men for a reason, okay? He hired these uptight sticker, and I bet you their pockets was fine. They didn't have no problems with money because they was in control of the money, okay? And when you have greedy bastards like that, like the Novak brothers, you better believe that by giving these people or your people more money, that means less money for them. Them mothers ain't taking no shorts. Bastards. The Novak brothers would show some short-sightedness in important areas. When I later tried to convince them around the time cassette tapes hit the market that Motown should manufacture cassettes, I was turned down by a pair of pudgy, frowning faces shaking their heads in tandem like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I guarantee you them niggas I guarantee you that them niggas is crying now. Well, not now, but then I can guarantee you that. You know how much money Motown would have saved on paying distributors and pressers or whatever the hell the case was? If they would have been creating their own cassette tapes, Ed, the boys, and I were living in a new development called Regency Square, in what used to be the East Side ghetto, but had benefited from urban renewal and had become a relatively elite section of Detroit. She's talking about regentification. To the west of us, in the area around Blaine Street, where I grew up, and in the other less fortunate areas of the city, incidents of crime-related violence were on the upswing. Any hope that the summer of '67 might be free of the awful inner-city clashes that had plagued the previous summers was dashed as soon as the weather turned hot. By June, the season's rioting had begun. In the middle of all of this, like a lit fuse near a leg of gunpowder, was a Motown staff writer named Abdullah. It ain't nothing like a black Muslim. Ain't nothing like, you hear me? That Abdullah. Hold tight. I love you, Abdullah. I love you. He had been a street performer in Brooklyn, and as a troubled youth, had been in and out of jail. Along the way, he had turned to the black Muslim faith and transformed himself into Abdullah. He strolled the halls of the Donovan building, outfitted in a head rag, bedroom clothing, and a skimtar in his waistband. Chief among the beliefs of his faith was the notion of black supremacy, to which Abdullah adhered militantly. Newly signed to Motown, a black company, he had proudly planned to be the biggest thing we ever had, the greatest performer in history of the world, and march his people on to glory. Columbia Records wanted me, man. I could have went anywhere, but I came to the brother so I could help him build this thing. Imagine his militant surprise when he found out that Barry Bedbug Bites was nowhere to be found, and he was pointed in the direction of, what's this nigga name? Ralph Seltzer. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now, remember this. The same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves, you babies, have a good one, be safe, and get vaccinated.